Alright, so we're playing Orcs Must Die today for the Xbox Live Arcade. It's a good game, actually. It's a really good download. It's a tower defense game, mixes strategy, role-playing, and the tower defense genre really well. So if you've never played a tower defense game, the basic thing is you have a tower, and as the name implies, you must defend it. So basically, you have the orcs who are trying to get at you, the, what are you called in this game? War Mage. And you have a rift, which you need to protect. And the rift is sort of your essence of magic for your magic society. It's these blue things here. So you need to protect them from all the orcs. And the way you do it is by setting up traps that you can use to stop the orcs from making their progress, and using a variety of weapons. Well, I guess not really a variety, it's just this crossbow I have here, and a sword. And then you can also unlock magical weapons like a wind belt to push enemies away, or an ice sort of glove that freezes enemies in place. So you have a few varieties of things here. But the main essence of the game is setting up traps and stopping the horde of orcs and trolls and goblins from getting up there. So right now I'm actually scouting out the level to see where orcs are going to be coming from. They start coming from these doors here. So it looks like there's two of them, and then I have two rifts to protect. You don't have to do this, but I think it's important to run around and see what the level looks like, so you know what you're going to be up against, where enemies are coming from, and you can decide the best way to sort of beat the odds here. Okay, cool. I'm going to open up my spell book, and you can see here I have a whole bunch of spells. You don't start with this many, you only start with the first three, so that's your crossbow, which you always have, your blade staff, which is a sword, and then the poison spike trap. It's one of your initial traps. It's one of my go-to traps. But as you beat each level, you unlock more and more traps to use, and that's a lot of fun. Just every level gives you something new, and you can really see what works well and what you like to use, and you'll easily find something that fits your style. So let's see, I just got this one, the auto ballista. Let's see how this puppy works. And we'll go with this. You only start the game with 3 slots at the bottom. See, I think I have, what, 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10. So every few levels you get an extra one. And it adds to the strategy. But it is kind of a necessity, because when you get into later levels, just having 3 things is never going to cut it. So it's good to have the extras there. This is a big level. Spike traps, I think, are one of the best ones you can get. They tend to be the most versatile and the most useful ones to actually put out. So we'll set up a row here. One good thing about the game is that the enemies are not dumb by any means. So I guess it's kind of counterintuitive to what an orc would be, but when you set a trap, the enemies will purposefully go around it. And that's pretty tight. I think them being able to incorporate that makes a lot of... I'm going to actually sell these, I placed them wrong. It makes a lot of your decisions more meaningful, just because you need to know where things go, so you make sure you actually effectively beat the level and not just waste time. Alright, we'll set these here. Also, later on you get these things called weavers, which I'm in the menu now. And they act as sort of skill trees to upgrade certain stats just for each level. So you don't need to use them, but they do some cool things. And each one sort of caters towards a specific part of the game. So I'm using the Steel Weaver, which focuses more on traps, and I'm improving my traps so that when I kill an enemy with the trap, I get more gold, and then traps reset faster. So there's other ones that work specifically for just the gun, or just your crossbow, and ones that work for your buddies here. Like there's my archers, you can improve them too. But I think I'm good for now, so we're gonna start the game. And you see the map in the top left, or top right, I can bring it down. That's where enemies are coming from. The red dots are the enemies, so we'll go from here. I'll start using my crossbow. It's a very effective crossbow, so it's good to use. Picking off enemies is fairly easy. As you can see, the little crosshairs are actually, if I keep holding it down, it gets less and less accurate, like you would see in any strategy game, or any shooter game. So it adds a lot of strategy to what you need to do here. And then you also have magical attacks, so I'm shooting that out there and enemies are getting stunned. because I'm using my magical abilities, and the top left is my HUD, and the blue is the magic meter, and the red is your health. So there is only one type of magic per weapon, so you can't use a lot of different magics to get... Oh shit, they're getting in my rift. So you can't use a lot of different magics to get... or for each weapon, it's just the one. But it's good, it adds to the strategy. So that's the first wave. The next wave's coming in 5 seconds here. You have some time to set up traps, but I really just like to sort of hold out my fort, save my money, and then every few waves they take a break, and you can actually set up, take your time and set up, and it makes it a lot easier instead of just having to rush. So the guys coming out here are still orcs, but they are archer orcs. So obviously they can shoot you from a distance, and kind of unfair. They're very accurate, and I don't know. I don't like them. They're rough enemies to kill. Outside of that, you see every now and then I'm getting headshots come up on the screen like that. They do more damage, pretty much instant kill for anything besides like a giant troll. So the game's really tight. You can the controls are really tight. I mean, when you shoot somewhere, it's very responsive. You're gonna go right where it is, and that's a really good thing to have for a game like this. It makes it crap. It makes it a lot nicer to know that the game responds well like that. So I'm getting kind of not doing so well here. So in the top right on the screen, that number 23 is how many, I guess, orcs can get back to my wrist before I lose. So I don't have too many left. Certain levels have more than others, so some levels only have like 15 rift points. Other ones have less than that. Now you can see here comes some flying enemies out the middle. These are, in my opinion, the cheapest enemies in the entire game because they take way too much damage and they're hard to hit. You can see looks like I'm hitting them, but sometimes I'm just going right under. It's not really missing of depth perception, it's just like the way you're shooting doesn't quite work. Actually, I'm taking these guys out fairly easily, but when they release smaller ones, like little tiny pink dragons, they're ruthless. They run a lot faster, and they do a lot of damage, and it's not really fair. I think it's one of the really rough things, and the reason I think it's not fair is because there's really no effective trap to stop them. Like, you can put these things on the walls, which are really awesome, these spike traps that shoot out, but like I said before, enemies will avoid your traps, so it's kind of like you're just going to place them and you're just going to waste money because they're not going to be able to get through here because they're just going to go around. So that kind of stinks, but it seems like they're all going to come through here, so I'll set these up and make sure that they're going to meet some death when they walk through that way. We'll also load up these areas here, try to get it so orcs can't do anything else. This one's a good one. It's a swinging mace. It always swings. It doesn't hit all the time, but it's pretty cool to use. It's a fun one. Set that up right there. No, I don't. And that's pretty much the game. It's very fun. It's a good one to try out. I think if you are on the edge of getting it or not, because you're just not sure what it's going to be like, definitely give it a shot. It's fun, but it's tough. Excuse me, it's really tough. There's not going to be any really remorse. You're going to have some levels that are just going to kick your butt until you actually come back and play the game again with your bonus materials that you unlock through the stages. But as it is now, the game's pretty cool. Again, it's Orcs Must Die, only for the Xbox. I really recommend checking it out. I'm going to keep killing orcs here, so wish me luck.